is Eric Bryant Hansen. I was born to an Amish family in northern Michigan in 1971.
Oh wow. Wow.
We worked very hard to get ourselves out of paying taxes, but we couldn't resist, so we moved out west. And we tried to start life over again here in Isla Vista.
So your family moved here, your parents?
Yes, my family did move here. They came originally from Africa, and 40,000 years ago. All right, how much are you guys paying me to do this again? What was it, like $10?
Yeah.
I forgot my lines. What were I'm supposed to say again? Can we take that over again?
We just shoot. We edit later.
All right. All right.
So how did you get involved with the flower business?
Flowers kind of just haphazardly came about. I don't know. It was by default. The real honest to goodness, I worked in high school around town, and they had little flower kiosk stands like this all around.
In Isla Vista?
Isla Vista, Goleta, Santa Barbara, and there's a few around town still that have that same kind of character or flavor. And what I was always admired were the people that worked there, because they were a little bit more liberal, outgoing attitude, and it's nice working around. I mean, if you have to think of a job that, my idea in the future is I want to create an economy where people are going to pay to work there. So it's like reverse psychology, because there's a lot of people with a lot of money, and they want to have something to do. So they might pay to do a job.
So they're going to pay
to work at a flower stand.
Because that makes you happy?
No, it doesn't. I mean, being around it can be like a form of therapy for the people. So, yeah, it is. It's very, like let's say you go to Montecito, I was just over in San Ynez a couple of weeks ago. Big new estate. What does she have? She has her own little flower thing where she can work in the garden with flowers. So it's kind of a thing, you know, when you make a lot of money and you start reflecting on how there's no meaning in life, you kind of turn to flowers. So I did that in high school, but I think a pivotal moment for me was the film Adaptation, which I highly recommend it. Because it does, what's the challenge of being a screenwriter trying to write a movie about flowers? So my challenge was to try to make a living with flowers, and trying to fulfill that.
Done pretty well in it?
Yeah, but at the end of the movie, what happens? I mean, it's just like, you know, you're in the middle of El Segundo, and you see little flowers growing on the side of the meridian.
Where did you go to school at?
I'm a local, so I went to Dos Pueblos High, class of '89. That's where I met my partner, and we have a new baby boy. So we're Goleta the Good Land starting over again.
Oh.
I basically, in Isla Vista in the 70s, you would not believe it, but I wouldn't stand out very much. There was a very flamboyant crowd of individuals. You still see a few of them like Ted. He's went camo now. It's just they don't pay very well for bright colored outfits in the
So how is Ivy different from today?
Well, because, number one, I would say you would look at everything in the world about private property. I'm reading a great book right now on the myth of national security, and that's the whole thing is you're securing private property for a certain elite class. So in the sense is that, I don't want to stray away from it. But okay, so Ivy you asked me about, why is it different? Because it's so expensive now there to live. And the thing is, in the 60s and 70s and 80s, it was considered the most cheapest rent in all of Santa Barbara. But what happened was that it just, again, the universities increased the flow of students, so that got used up. I'd also say, too, is that it's just populations increased around the world, so IV has just been caught up in that. So I think in the 60s and 70s, the baby boomer generations, which I was a kid, looking at these grown-ups acting like, you know, well, the thing was they didn't think there was going to be a tomorrow. They were worried about nuclear war.
So did you grow up in Ivy?
I went to Ivy Elementary for 1 year. I went to La Patera. I got bounced around. Bottom line is my parents were just like normal kind of middle class people and trying to make ends meet, so we had to move around a lot. And you know, Ivy is not really good for kids at a certain age too. You can kind of, you know, you can easily see you get yourself in trouble. So what really happens most of the time, you begin in Ivy and then move to Goleta or Santa Barbara and start your family. So that's just the way things happened in Santa Barbara in the 70s and 80s.
So tell me about...
Well, so I'm saying this, so there's not as much room for artistic expression in Isla Vista when you're all cramped in there.
They're still there, though.
There's still a bit of that, yeah. So, but there's still a few of the guys hanging out.
Did you go to Earth Day?
I didn't make it this year. I have a newborn, so it was tough. We had a birthday party to go to, but I always go there in spirit. They're having Earth Day in Goleta this weekend, which is a neat one, over at Stowe Canyon on Las Canoas. You should check that out.
So how old are you?
Well, I was born in '71, 37.
37?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Still Well, again, I just, you know, my whole philosophy of the flower stand is I was looking for a hobby, something to do. And I would like to think that, what are the two demographics in Santa Barbara? Students and retirees.
Yeah.
Okay? So I would try to do a hybrid, and I came up with a retired student. So I still love to learn, but I treat life like I'm retired. So.
Retired student.
Yeah, retired student. So that's kind of like Santa Barbara. If you get a degree here, I figured that out my junior year. I'm not going to be able to get a job here. So I'm going to have to move somewhere. And, you know, I'm sorry, but I love Orange County. It's beautiful, especially when the smog blows in those days. It's just, you can always look to Disneyland to cheer you up. But it's just, it's tough, man. It's like, I love my hometown.
So you would never live anywhere but here?
No, I would live Hawaii.
You live in Hawaii?
You guys going to give me how much for this video?
Enough
I'm
to live
out of
in
here. I'm exactly.
Did you go to Costa Rica or any other?
I've been around, yeah. No, I think, although Hawaii you get island fever, I like to be around people, and that's my problem in a sense. So I would get really island fever over there. I know a lot of people that do that.
What's
There's a lot
your
of
favorite
guys.
country you've been to?
Favorite country? I went to Ireland again a couple years ago. Unfortunately, they're getting money, so they're losing their character. I like poor countries, people that try to make
Simple life.
yeah, to try to create a certain quality of life without needing the money to validate their way of living. So, Mexico's beautiful, and that's a truly, I mean, if anything, Mexico's got, you know, a range of things that are phenomenal. It's so close.
Wait, did you go to school here
I did.
at UCSB?
I went to City College mainly. You know, if you're smart, you can save like what 80% going to City College, and it's a much, I think, a nicer campus. So
What did you study?
aesthetically, I did a whole range of stuff. I was like, I was a little bit of everything. Hey, Bill. Good, man. They're talking about sending me on a flight to Africa. The rendition thing. What is this? You guys were into that interviewing me about. Don't waterboard me, bro. Makes a big mess. I've seen it. Anyways, he's a security guy over at the library, at the museum. You got a heckle of security guys.
So you basically know everyone that works
Yeah, I
in
mean,
the
it's like a
area.
small town if you walk by. Hey, Rich, what's happening, man?
Hey.
How's it going? Smoothie time? Got my watch today.
So if your job's your hobby, what do you do in your free time?
I don't know. I like to. I spend time on the internet. I have family, so we have a 16-year-old daughter, and we have a newborn. So guess what? I have double shifts, so I'm up doing the late nighters. I think the great thing about having lived in Santa Barbara for so long is I had roommates everywhere I lived. So it trains you for like family life so well. Because you got newborn babies waking up at 2 and 5 in the morning. It sounds like my roommates. They'd be stumbling in at 2 or 5. So it's like, you know, I'm already, my brain and my body's already kicked in there. So it's like, it's not a problem. Where most people, because they live their little 9 to 5 lives and they're in bed, something new in their life would shake them up.
So you're saying you're a good dad.
Oh yeah, I tried to do the best I could do. I mean, financially I could be better off, but you know, I grew up around tons of rich kids here, and we always learn that, you know, money doesn't get you everything in life. So.
What's the best part of your job, do you think?
You know, all jobs, I'll tell you, it's like real estate: location, location, location. So, I love to swim in the ocean before work and after work. So that's kind of part of my lifestyle, yeah. And then I bike here, so I get sweaty, and then it wakes me up for my ride back home too. So it's nice. And again, it's great. I mean, this is like, you think about the GPS, if you do a Google Earth and then you zoom in on this, it's a really unique south-facing mountains. I mean, there's no other, if you travel around the world, you realize that how unique. And that's why everyone tries to preserve this. It's kind of a natural sanctuary for rich people. But you know, I'm more like, you know, I love Earth Day and all that. I feel it's a little bit elitist. Why don't we start to help out endangered part of humanity, like people that think differently and stuff like that? It's kind of like, you know, you should have like Berkeley. I always think of Berkeley as like a endangered species habitat, seeing all the people that have dropped out there and just like having a different attitude and lifestyle. So
Yeah.
that's important. I think genetically that's really important for society too, because I hate to tell you guys, the economy ain't getting any better, and it's going to be, they look like they're full steam ahead into Iran these days, but we hope not.
So you're optimistic about the future?
Oh yeah, you have to be. I mean, if anything, you know, there's so much momentum, even if something does happen, we'll still keep on going. It's not like gas will get expensive. But you guys were fortunate. Get this, I was just telling somebody this yesterday. When I was a kid, I remember going with my parents in the 70s to gas station and waiting 3 hours in
I
line.
remember that.
And then get it off watching people fight. I literally saw, I was like a 6-year-old kid and I saw a fist fight at a gas station over here in Melita. Just because of gasoline became a shortage, and people forget how dependent you are on your whole, it's just like, again, when that thing gets pulled back, people react. And that's what I'm worried about. Oh, it's a sign. Obama must be coming to town.
That's 10 minutes.
Yeah?
I think we got it.
All right, well, if you guys want to come back for another edition, come back with better questions.
Ooh, brainstorm
You gotta
stuff.
give me-